So this week, my blog is also going to help me fulfill something for work. Um, I was in a meeting last week and all this stuff was going on about what's going to be happening in the same meeting tomorrow. And my boss said, and Robert, you can bake something for this if you want. And I was like, huh? But I figured, what the heck? I'm going to go ahead and bake something for it. It's a morning meeting, so it's kind of got to be a breakfasty food. I was like, oh, most of the things I bake are typically more sweets, and so not really breakfasty for a lot of people. But that being said, there are a lot of things that I bake that are breakfasty, just not things that I would want to take to work with me. So, came across the idea of a coffee cake. Coffee cakes are kind of everywhere, or at least they used to be kind of everywhere out here in the Midwest. When I was growing up, my mom would actually have coffee with the ladies, and it actually was coffee, not some other weird thing. Not alcohol. Usually, as far as I know. Anyway, she would have these ladies over, and it was like the early 70s where that was the thing that a lot of women who didn't have jobs at the time were doing. They would go from one person's house on Monday to somebody else's house on Tuesday. You'd have coffee in the afternoon. And with your coffee, you would have a coffee cake. Now, I've got some great recipes for coffee cake, actually. I have one that I absolutely love that's lemon and blueberry with a coriander crumb that I got from a friend of mine. I'm not making that one for work because I didn't want to go out and buy blueberries and lemon and all that just for this. Especially when it's some random thing and people aren't really expecting anything at work anyway. So the kind I'm going to be making is just a standard cinnamon streusel coffee cake. Typically this would be in like a 9x13 pan, and then you'd cut it. I was thinking, a bunch of people sitting around a table at work, I didn't really want to have to deal with knives and cutting and all the crumb that comes with that. So, I was thinking I'll do something smaller. Remember the brownies that I made last week that were too small? Something kind of like that, but not quite. Although, the pan that I'm using is technically an individual brownie pan. One of my sisters gave it to me for Christmas. It's shallow, because you're thinking brownies, right? But then each of the squares is probably about 2 inches. I would guess, at the base. It's a little bit wider at the top. So I thought, it should be a good way to do coffee cake. It doesn't have to be really tall. It's all about the streusel. So that's what I'm going to use. There's a catch, though. Coffee cake is fairly light, typically, which means it can be really hard to get out of a pan. These are, the instructions specifically say you should not use any kind of cooking spray. So, okay, because it's a nonstick surface. So I'm like, okay, don't want to get these stuck in here. Don't want to have to try to flip them out and have the crumble go everywhere, because the streusel will end up everywhere if I do that. So I've gone ahead and cut strips of wax paper, which I'm going to lay into each of these. This is how I figured out that it's about 2 inches wide, because I thought it was wider and had to trim down all the sheets that I made. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to leave it with the edges hanging out, so I have handles. So then hopefully, if all goes well, when they're done, I can just kind of cut around 2 edges and then just lift it up. Peel this off. We're good to go. So that's my hope. The recipe is my mom's recipe. I don't know where it came from. I just have it. I don't even have like a note card or something. It's just in the cookbook that I have that I have a lot of my mom's recipes in. So maybe she can tell us where it came from. But otherwise, that's what I'm going to be working with. And I will see you down at the bottom of the page with some cinnamon streusel coffee cake goodness. All right, see you there.